I'm Tim Evans, and you're listening to Mind Over Money, the podcast that helps Aussies have finances that work. Hi, Archie.
G'day, Tim. We're missing Lachlan today.
Yes, an important team member. Don't worry, Lockie will be back, but just the two of us today. And got another great episode.
Yeah, part 2 of Q&A.
Yes, part 2. Very good. So a few questions that we're going to be going through. A little taster is, what are some ways that we can really get ahead in our finances? And another question we had was, how do offsets work? And how is it different to redraw? And we're also going to be going through, how do I know it's time to refinance? And lastly, financial goals stress me out. Is there a better way? So I think before we jump into these questions, we kind of want to set it up with what this podcast is about, mind over money, with the mindset and our beliefs and how they really affect pretty much everything we do.
Yeah. I was just looking at the book, The Psychology of Money, again today. In there, he's got a quote from Napoleon. And Napoleon's definition of a military genius was that the man who can do the average things when all those around him are going crazy. So that's Napoleon's definition of a genius. Someone who can do the ordinary things when everyone else is going crazy. So that's how we're setting up today's podcast is what's the crazy stuff that's going on? And then what's the normal, what's the average, that we can focus on?
Yep.
Because the crazy can't always be focused on. So, yeah.
I love that. There's actually a new movie just come out about Napoleon. I don't know if it's any good, but I've heard it looks great. So maybe this is good timing.
Yep. Cool. And if you don't know who Napoleon is, you're going to have to Google him.
Yes. Not Napoleon Dynamite.
No, that's a good movie. I love that movie.
Not to be confused with.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the craziness at the moment?
Well, just to give some examples here, the norm would be to buy a cheap home that we can afford to pay off, rather than buying, something that we're going to pay a lot of money for and then find ourselves not able to pay it off. So we've seen a lot of crazy around the high borrowing capacities that we saw with the low interest rates. And then that's all people borrowing to their maximum, which might have been 800,000 instead of borrowing 500,000. And, and now they're stuck with those big loans and trying to get through there.
So that's all relative, isn't it? Like a cheap home really depends on your situation and for everyone else. Yeah. Everyone that's different. Yeah. But yes.
For sure. And then the other one would be making contributions to an investment fund and starting at age 15. So that would be the norm, the thing that actually works. Whereas what we're seeing in the crazy side of things at the moment is spending. You got to spend it, because otherwise you might lose it.
Right.
There's this fear of losing it if you invest it. But the thing is, once you spend it, you've already lost it. It's gone. Whereas if you invest it and you invest it so that it's going to grow and flourish, which is pretty easy to do, you're going to always have it and you're going to have it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So it's just being able to do those sort of things.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. The whole 15-year-old thing is really just investing a little bit over a long time is very powerful, as opposed to investing a lot over a short time.
Yeah. And the last sort of example we had here was waiting for something to happen instead of doing what we can do now. And so we see a lot of courses, a lot of training, education, people spending a lot of money to try and find ways to help them build wealth. And whereas they really could be doing just simple things like sticking to a spending plan, saving and investing, and being able to adjust to your circumstances so that you can avoid debt. These are simple things that we can do, but quite often we're chasing that bigger thing and we're waiting for that something special to happen. And it may never happen, and we may find ourselves stuck in a debt trap.
Yes, great. I mean, there is a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
And it's tempting to get sucked into the marketing thinking, oh, this one thing will get me ahead.
Yeah.
But I like what you outlined there. Let's keep it simple. Let's be the average man in a crazy world. And I think you can do a lot with that. You can get far.
Yeah. Like we were saying before, we're all pretty much average, especially in Australia. We've got a system that is all about everyone being fairly similar, in our jobs, our incomes, our circumstances, and if we take our eyes off the outliers, the people that might be right at the top or the people that might be right at the bottom, and we just look at Australia, we're a nation of average, and average is actually good. That's
right. I think, yes, that's right. Yeah, you statistically speaking, you're probably average if you're listening to this, and that's not a bad thing. You're in a good spot if you're average.
Yep.
So yeah, that's great. So through that lens, let's answer those questions we brought up. So the first one being, so what are some ways to really get ahead in our finances? I think people are worried, confused. I guess that's probably always been the case in terms of finances. But what's normal, and what can we focus on to get ahead?
Yeah. So the thing to focus on is investing and having an investing mindset. So we got an example here of if you saved $1 every month from the year 1900 to the year 2019, and every month you put that $1 into the US share market, at the end of 2019, you would have $435,000. So you put very little money in, but compounding returns and the share market doing what it does. $435,000 there.
Yeah, actually, I just Googled it. You've invested $1,428.
Wow.
It's 1,428 months. So just that's not a bad return.
No, it's very good. And that's the thing about investing: small amount of money turning into a large amount of money, and being able to use that money to pay for things such as cars. The uncommon thing is, or the crazy stuff, is when we start to get scared and go, "Oh, the market's dropped." So you're investing in the share market. The market goes up and down, and so you see the market go down. And, everyone panics. The media is portraying, the share market crashed today. And all it did was adjust, but the media portrayed as this, this massive crash. So you get scared, and what do? You stop putting your dollar in because you're going, oh, no, the market's down. Like, it's not the time to invest. And so you stop putting your dollar in. So in that case, if you didn't put your dollar in for all those months when the market went down, you'll only have $257,000. So you've lost half your money.
Right.
Because you didn't put the money in when the market was down, and you allowed the media and the hype to get to you. Now, if you take it one step further and you're one of those people that thinks, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll pull my money out and then I'll put it back in again when I feel confident again that everything's okay. So, and you still put your dollar in, but you're going to pull it all out and put it in cash when the market goes down, and then you're going to put it back in when the market goes back up again. And so you'll have a grand total of $234,000. Again, you've lost half.
Right.
Because you're mucking around with it. There's a chance you'll actually lose the whole lot.
Sure.
When you start putting it in and pull it out. And you're stressing yourself out because you're listening to the media and what other people are saying and where everyone's going crazy. So we'll go back to Napoleon. Everyone's going crazy. What do? You just keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. And you start at age 15 and you just keep doing it for the rest of your life.
Or start wherever you're at now. It's never a bad time to start. You're not 15 anymore, like some of us here. Now's a great time. Yeah, no, that's really good. I love that. The market's always. We got over 100 years of data. The market's going to go up and it's going to go down.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. It's going to bounce back. The normal thing to do is just keep plodding on.
Yep, and the market's dependent on the economy. So whatever the economy is doing, that's what the market's going to be doing. And we know that the economies go up and down depending on circumstances. So, yeah. Look, the classic on this is we're talking about having a long-term mindset and continually doing something. You know, and in Australia, we can do this very easily. Like we can invest in the share market very easily. So to give you another example here, we've got an art purchaser. So this is a man in Germany, and what he was doing was buying bundles of art over his lifetime. So these are pictures and stuff, and he had no idea what they were. He's just at an auction buying bundles of art and saving them up. When he gets to the end of his lifetime, he's got actually over $1 billion in art assets because he's got these famous artists in amongst his collection.
Yeah,
and it's only 1% of his collection. So you know, so this is a great example of investing over time. Is that he just kept buying and he didn't know what he was getting, and he didn't know what was happening in the market. He had no idea whether you know this painting was worth this or that or going up and down. And eventually, he's got over $1 billion in art, and he was actually able to sell it to the German government for $100 million, less than what it was worth. Because he didn't need the money.
Generous guy, only $100 million.
The point is he wasn't a professional and he wasn't trying to win. He was just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, that's the investing mindset, really.
Yeah.
It's not trying to make a huge amount of money, but it's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the answer to the question is how do we really get ahead? Is just one step at a time, keep making wise decisions based on reality, not emotions.
Yep. And the crazy thing is, you know, we're being sold this win mentality. Everything's about getting a win. You know, you're going to buy this share to get a win, or you're going to buy this Bitcoin to get a win. And it's all coming through the media. It's all flowing through. That's our problem is if we have that win mindset where we're trying to always win, we're losing the strategy.
The next question is a bit about banking, but if you're new to all this, how do offsets work? And is that different to redraw? Which I think is a very good, interesting question.
Yep.
So first of all, what's an offset, Archie?
Well, we're talking a home loan here. So if you're new to the home loan world and buying a home, you can get a loan with an offset, or you can get a loan with redraw. So an offset is in a bank account that sits against the home loan. And whatever money is in that offset reduces how much interest you pay on your home loan. So if there's $20,000 in the offset, that's $20,000 less interest that you're going to pay on your home loan. And some people like it because you don't pay any tax on that interest offset. And so, you know, you're effectively earning on that $20,000, you're earning whatever the going interest rate is, which might be 6% at the moment. And you don't pay any tax on it. So, seems like a win-win. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
With redraw, you can pay that extra $20,000 onto the home loan, and effectively you'll get the same thing as the offset. You won't pay interest on that $20,000, and so you're making that 6% return on that $20,000. And then because you got redraw, you can actually take that $20,000 back out again.
Yeah.
From the home loan. The thing we've got to understand with all of this is these are all marketing tools. They weren't developed to help people. They were developed to sell products. And one way to sell a product is, give people a tax deduction or a tax benefit. We love those.
So it's not from the kindness of the bank's heart to help you save on interest.
Yeah, definitely not. Yes. So they are a marketing tool. And they're there to sell a product. And so, and when we look at Australian home loans, they're getting refinanced way too often. And so, and it shows that the marketing is affecting our thinking. And so, so we're getting pulled into this crazy thing of refinancing and, changing our home loan around and trying to get a win. It's all about getting that win again. And instead of keeping our head and sticking to a strategy. So, the the best way to save interest on a home loan is to pay it off.
Well, ahead of schedule.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The banks, they do what they do, and they try to make you say, oh, look over here. We're going to help you get ahead and save interest, which might, be true a little bit. But like you said, the best way, I think we've looked at it at, let's say it's a $500,000 home loan. If instead of paying it off over 30 years, you pay it off in 7 years, you will spend $600,000 less in interest. So you will save much more than putting savings in an offset over 30 years. Completely different amounts. Really comes back to what's normal. I guess maybe this one's not normal though.
Well, it used to be normal. No, it used to be normal. See, that's the problem with marketing and craziness. It's like it is that we get pulled into stuff thinking this is normal. And if we go back in time, the normal was to pay off your home in 7 to 10 years. What the banks have done is they've increased how long you have to pay off your home loan so you can borrow more money. And banks are all about lending money. That's where they make their money. So they want to increase their lending. And now we're starting to see loans go to 35 and 40 years.
I've seen, we are doing 35,
Yeah, so that tells you what the banks are up to.
It's true.
And if we go back to the norm is get rid of the debt. That's how it used to be. It used to be that we were very much a debt-free country. And now we're the biggest debt country in the world.
Yeah, well, that's not a title we want, but
no,
I guess a title we deserve.
Yeah, so we top the ladder in debt now compared to everyone else in the world, and that's because we've gone down that path. Yeah. So if you want to pay your house off in 7 years, it's totally doable. You've just got to change the way you think about it and go back to the normal. Yeah.
So what are a couple of differences that you would have to, like in terms of mindset when you're purchasing a home, to be able to pay it off in 7 years? I'm guessing you can't borrow to the max. Like, what are some of the things we need to be thinking about?
So the great part about having a loan where you can pay all your money onto the loan is that you can work out what your surplus is. And you might have, say, a $30,000 surplus per year. So that's $30,000 that you're going to pay off your home loan, extra that's going to go on to paying off your home loan. And the faster you pay down the home loan in the initial years means that your interest rate is dropping quite dramatically, like how much interest you're paying. So you start paying off the capital at a rapid rate. So if your repayments are already $40,000, then you drop another $30,000 on. By the time you get to the 7th year, there's no interest to be paid, and you're paying $70,000 off your home loan.
Right.
So you're getting this effect where when you first start the loan at $40,000 repayment, you might only be paying $4,000 off the principal on a 30-year loan. So you throw an extra $30,000 on there. Now you've paid off $34,000 off the principal, and you've just dropped your interest rate, or not your interest rate, the amount of interest you're paying. So now you're paying extra off the principal. And so by the time you get to that 7th year, there's only like $70,000 left on the loan, and you're going to pay $70,000 onto it. So loan is gone.
Right.
So that's how it works. Just what you got to be mindful of with these loans is that, like a redraw loan, is the banks don't want you to pay off the loan because their goal is to have more debt. so they don't want you paying off that loan. So what they do is they put a big green button on the web page when you go into your banking, and that big green button is to give you a good feeling when you redraw the money back out of that home loan. It's to give you that win, and so you get that win, and so you keep drawing the money out, and so it's the same with the offset. The offset's attached to the home loan. It's right there on your banking app, and when we see that we've got that money there, we just want to spend it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Or something comes up and it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries.
So you got to have a strategy to pay off your home, and everyone can do this. And at the same time, you want that strategy to include investing. So you don't want everything to go on the home loan. You still want to be able to invest at the same time. And we do have strategies for doing that as well.
So you can have your cake and eat it.
Yes.
Just need a smaller cake. A cake that you can afford. No, that's so good. I love that answer. And I think, I guess what you're talking about is pulling it back to habits and focus. And is your loan helping you towards your goal, or is it like hindering you and have this a good feeling when you go backwards, really? So it's all how we function as humans, and we need to have understanding of that. So I love it. Puts the focus back on control over spending and paying down the home to invest over your lifetime. So let's go on to our third question. Is another one, it's a common one, but how do I know if it's time to refinance? And do I leave that to my bank to tell me? Do I leave that up to my broker? Should I refinance? Why should I refinance? What do you think about this, Archie?
Yeah. Again, we're back to what's the media telling us? What's everyone talking about? And so that could be social media as well as, TV and stuff. So we hear about refinancing, and again, marketing tools are going to come in play. There could be cashbacks. There could be some special interest rate, some introductory interest rate where they're going to give you, 1% off the interest rate for the first year, but then it's going to revert to being 2% higher on the second year.
And then you refinance again.
Yeah. And look, and it pulls us in because the reason it pulls us in is we're looking for that win mentality, and we the cashback might be $3,000, and we go, fantastic, I'm going to refinance and get $3,000. That's great. And then, that 1% interest saving on an introductory rate could save you $5,000-$6,000 in interest over a year. So again, you go, oh, fantastic, I'm going to take that. So we keep getting pulled into refinancing, and the trap with refinancing is you never pay your home off, which is again what the marketing is about. And quite often with refinancing, we will pick up things like any external debt. We'll start to draw out the equity out of our home. And so we increase our debt often when we refinance. And so the stats actually show us this, is that when we refinance, we increase the debt.
Sure. Yeah, there's some renos I want to do, and I might as well.
Yeah. Yep. Our brain will go to the spend. Yeah. And how we can spend that money. Yeah. So come back to your strategy. So you got to come back to the normal. The normal is, what's your strategy for paying off your home?
Yep.
You might be paying a bit extra in interest, but because of your strategy in the interest rate that you're paying, but because of your strategy, you're going to save a bucket load of money because you're paying that home off. Yeah. Yes, and at the same time you're investing, which is going to pay for your cars, so you're not even going to take other debt on. And so we can go back to the norm of how people used to live before all this stuff came into place. It really was get in and pay the house off, and don't borrow for cars, and investing. And people had a real investing mindset, and they didn't know which investments were going to pay off. People just kept doing it. And living this great life. I can look back at how people used to live quite well. And now we're in all this stress over finances because things have got very complex because we're looking for that win. And, we've got all these products and these abilities to do things. It's just whether they're actually going to work in our strategy or not.
That's great. Yeah. And so none of those things like cashback and all that, they're not bad things, but does it work towards your overall goals and strategy, and keep doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
a great answer. So a quick break. We're going to be back with the final question.
Hey, it's Lachlan. Wow, loving this episode. I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I gotta say, I've never heard a mortgage broker like Archie tell it like it really is. When it comes to the banks, when it comes to this massive debt complex that we now have in Australia today. The truth is, we have so many opportunities to get ahead and do well, but often we're held back by these mindsets and the marketing that aims to take our money. Money that we can be using to build a strong and secure future. And like Tim and Archie said, the financial institutions, the products, the systems that we have available to us, they're not bad. In fact, they're really good. And things are more accessible than ever. What's missing though is clarity. Clarity over our cash flow, our goals, our finances, and the opportunities that are right in front of us. We just need someone to help us clear away that noise so we can finally see it. A way forward. At Waymaker, that's what we do. We help you see the way forward and give you the clarity and confidence that you need to move ahead and have finances that work. So I'm just going to say it. Have you been thinking about joining Waymaker to finally take action and get that clarity that you've been looking for, and maybe end that frustration that you've been feeling all year in your finances? Well, why not book in a call with us this week with our team? You can click the link in our bio or head to waymakerfinance.com.au to book in a free 20-minute Zoom chat with one of our advocates. We'd love to help you step into 2024 feeling confident about your finances and your future. Again, that's waymakerfinance.com.au. And now for part 2 of our Q&A.
So welcome back, and on to our last question. Financial goals stress me out altogether. So are there any suggestions that you have to approach our finances better from just that lens of, what my goals are and stress levels? Maybe we could start by discussing what are some common crazy goals that you hear, Archie, from day to day?
Yeah. And look, this isn't to do with what I've done in my life. This is just, you hear these things all the time.
Right.
You hear them in the media, you hear them at barbecues, you just hear them over a lifetime. So some of the common ones are, financial freedom. My goal is financial freedom. And there's all these different thoughts around that too, what that financial freedom looks like.
Right.
But the big one I'm seeing at the moment is people getting pulled into solar and borrowing money to put a solar system on the house.
Right.
So that they can save on
electricity companies.
Yeah, to save on their electricity bill. But I see a very big problem with this is that we need an electric system. We have to pay for an electric system because we can't actually rely on solar for our electrical needs. So it's a hard one because we're saying I want to be self-sufficient, not have an electricity bill.
Yes.
But we need a network, so we still got to pay.
The grid is good. And we go to our supermarket or the airport. I'm happy that they have electricity running through to the airport.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So the other sort of stuff I hear is, I only want to work 10 hours a week. And, as the financial freedom, I'm going to earn $500 an hour, for 10 hours a week. Again, we got a problem with that because we're average, and we need people to drive trucks. We need shopping centers. We need food. We need infrastructure, houses built. None of that happens on 10 hours a week. It's like, so we're chasing something that only a few people can possibly do. So if we're going, look, I'm average, I'm going to work a normal week. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And then the other one that's pretty common around financial freedom is people are trying to build investments as quickly as possible. And to do that, they're borrowing large amounts of money and they're doing some crazy stuff, trying to find that particular share, that particular property that's going to make them $1 million. And again, we're trying to get that quick win. And the stats show us that it's a huge failure rate. So we're setting ourselves up for problems when we go down that path. Yeah. So the other goal that we hear is I want to retire by 40. Does that sound like a good goal?
I mean, depends what the purpose is. What does retire mean? It sounds right.
Yeah. Well, usually what they mean is not working. So get to age 40 and there's enough assets, generating money that don't need to work anymore. When
I left Japan and moved back to Australia, I had 2 months off and it did my head in by the end of it. It's like, I need to go do something. I'm like, so I don't know. I want to contribute and build something.
Yep.
But yeah. Some people maybe fishing is enough.
Well, COVID showed us how much we need to interact. when we got locked up,
Yes.
we were going crazy. So, so we need interaction. We need community. We need to be connected.
Yep,
So COVID was a good reminder of that. But generally what happens with I want to retire by 40 is we're chasing a quick win. So we've got to generate enough money, generate enough assets to do that. And what I often see is a trading mindset. So we start to become traders and we're trying to trade stuff, which pulls us into gambling.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're starting to gamble. We're starting to go into things like Bitcoin, and there was all those wonderful stories
Pokemon
about
cards.
about people becoming millionaires overnight with Bitcoin. So I want to retire by 40. Bitcoin's the thing for me because I'm going to become a millionaire very quickly.
For every one winner, there was like 100 losers that contributed to that winner.
I think
Maybe
there was more than 100 losers.
Maybe more. That's fair. That's fair.
It's a bit like Gold Lotto.
Yes.
There's a lot of people involved to
Except
get that
there's
winner.
a bigger buy-in.
Yeah. Yep. So we're stressing ourselves out.
Yep.
So this is where these goals
Sure.
can really stress us out and put us in the crazy mode, where we're chasing something that is going to cause us problems. Yep.
Yes.
The other one we hear is I want passive income. And when I ask people, what does passive income look like for you? No one can actually tell me. Have you found that?
Or what it practically looks like.
Yeah. What's your passive income going to be? Like, how you going to do that? And
The Amazon store or they still require. I don't realize it requires work.
Because we work in finances, so the ads that tend to pop up is you want passive income, join us here, and the marketing is there. And to pull you in, and it's like Reg is now earning $3,000 a day, and he's only working 1 hour.
Living the dream in Thailand.
Again, it's not reality. If we look at the world and we look at economies, that is not reality. For someone to win like that, someone's got to lose, and because we're not generating anything, and that's not investing. So investing is where we're generating something, and
Right.
it's generating for everyone, not just for us. So yeah, that's a really hard one to follow. Passive income, just achieving a passive income. The last one we got here is I want to invest in 10 properties in the next 5 years.
Right. That's the caveat there.
Yeah. And this is sold to everyone as, the way, the way to success is,
Right.
everyone can do this is what we're told.
Especially here in Australia.
Yeah. But the
Yes.
problem is if every Australian had 10 properties in 10 years, who's going to live in them?
It's all the pets.
All the pets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's not going to be a renter. There's not going to be anyone to pay for the property. So there is an investment property market, and you need to understand if you're going to invest in property, you need to understand that investment property market and how that property market works, and what you're going to invest in, and who's going to rent your property, and how all that works.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That's a full-time. It's not a side.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're stacking properties and using equity to, you get those 10 properties in 5 years. There's only one way to really do that. And it's all very precarious.
Well, under our current rules, lending rules, you've actually got to go commercial to get that lending. And therefore you lose all the protection of the government. And
Right.
and you're totally at the mercy of the lender who's lending you that money to do that. Because you're now talking high risk lending. It's outside the norm. So now you're owned by someone else. Not a great place to be. So,
and if one thing goes wrong, it all kind of tumbles down.
yeah. And the other one we hear is I want to pay my house off. And we've already talked about that a bit further up.
Yeah.
And too often when people say to me, I want to pay my house off, I say, okay, so how much extra are you going to put on the home loan? Oh, no, I'm not going to put any extra on the home loan. And I'm like, well, how are you going to pay your house off? And so then people start talking to me about flipping houses and, buying and renovating and flipping. And they watch all these TV programs that get them all excited. And that's supposed to be reality TV, which is not reality TV. They're getting paid to do that. So these goals that we just listed, they're potential problems. They're not really goals. So Tim, if I said to you, what's a goal? How would you set a goal?
Yeah, I guess the issue with those goals also, they were all very vague. Pay off my house, like you said, or just very vague, and there's no steps. And I think, to have a good goal, fundamentally, we need something we can track and something we can implement, i.e. we can do it, and they're realistic for our situations. And I think always got to look through those kind of lenses, because or else we can try copy and paste other people's goals, and it's not realistic. It's not for us.
And that's a really good point.
And that's an issue. And I think with finances, just like with anything, with exercise, with diet, we all have unique situations and we need our own solutions.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to think through where am I and what do I need to do next? And even more so with finances, I'd say.
And that last point you just made, that's where you need a doctor who knows you and your situation.
Yes.
And not the internet.
Right. A doctor, a nutritionist, a gym trainer, someone.
Yes,
that's right.
We need other people. We're back to people again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone who has built a skill, and that's valuable.
Yeah.
For us. Yeah.
No, it's good. So let's run through some goals that we can do that will actually take us ahead. And that will give us wins and will make us feel good about ourselves and our situation.
So I think a great financial goal, a simple one, to have a weekly spend goal. So that means having a budget and putting in how much you want to spend, and you can enjoy things in life. Budging it, having a plan that's specific.
Yeah. Yep. So that could be a hobbies goal, a coffee goal, whatever it is you want to spend that money on that is meaningful to you. Yeah. For some people, it could be buying gifts for people. It all depends what's important to you and what gives you value and gives you a win. Yeah.
That's great. Yep. The next one would be regular extra contributions to your home based on a budget again, i.e. that your surplus.
Yep.
That's a great goal. So it's specific, trackable, you can do it.
Yep. And we're seeing people pay off their homes in 7 years because of that. And it works.
Yeah, that's great. And if you're already in a home, and maybe you borrowed a bit more, you can still, maybe it's 10 years for you, but we need to make a plan. If you need to sit down and make a plan, and it could be 5 years.
Yeah, just to jump on that one, even with that strategy, you could split the loan, focus on one part and paying that one split down.
Yep.
And getting that paid off in 7 years, because if you make a strategy that, and you can make it work, that's what you want to focus on. So we don't have to just look at the whole loan. We can actually split it up and do something that's very workable for our situation at this particular time.
I love that. Yeah, that's so good. Another one that you talk about, Archie, is invest to pay for cars.
Yep.
Which is a great thought. Not just go into debt and then go into debt for the next car, and not even pay cash for your car, which is good.
Yeah.
But actually invest to pay for future cars, which is great.
Yeah, our investment figures show that this is the cheapest way to own a car, is to have investments that actually pay for the car and make those regular contributions to that investment based on what you would have borrowed. So if you had a car loan that you're paying $800 a month for, well, that's you put that $800 into an investment over 7 or 10 years. The longer the better. And that brings the cost of the car right down. And so it's a win-win. And when you get to the point of buying the car, because you've got the money saved up there and it's in an investment, you're gonna feel the pain of using that money to pay for the car. So it helps you make a really good decision around what that car's going to be. And how much you're going to spend on it. Yeah. Whereas we know that when you borrow to pay for cars, you'll spend a lot more money.
Right. Flashy hubcaps.
Well, the leather seats, the heating, the list is endless.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're talking marketing again.
That's a good point.
Cars and marketing go hand in hand.
Oh yeah, not only do you have the money, but you also want to spend less because it's a little bit painful. No, I like that. Very good.
Yeah, the people that we've got doing this, they're actually going longer than what they expected because they're just going, hey, my car's going really good. I don't need to buy one yet. And so they're just waiting until they're ready to buy that car. And, and they know that their investment's growing and that might mean that they can spend a little bit more when they get there. But I've also seen people spend a lot less when they get there and going, oh, I love how my investment's growing. I don't need the car that I thought I needed. I'm going to spend, 50% less on my car and keep my investment growing. And it's
great.
Yeah. And there's all these wins and people just get so excited and smiling and happy. It's like, yeah, it's great.
Great. And the last one to wrap it up is set aside a weekly cash amount for groceries. That's kind of with our spend goal. But if you have a budget set up, you put a number down that is reasonable and stick to it. Stick to it. And because you can do it, because you can choose the number.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you'll be surprised. And I mean, you can do this for any area, but groceries tends to be a big expense that can get out of control as well, easily if we're not tracking it.
Yeah, groceries really can. And like I was saying to you before, Tim, talking to some people this week, and they've done the opposite of the what are we calling this crisis at the moment? The cost of living crisis.
Oh, right.
So we're being told we're in a cost of living crisis and everything is so expensive and people are spending so much money. And what this couple did was they went, no, we're actually going to spend less. Let's not go down that path where we're being told that we're having to spend more. Let's actually spend less. And they set that as their goal. And they set it in specific areas and they've achieved it. And they are just over the moon that they're spending less now. And they weren't extravagant before.
Right.
But they set out to spend, less money per week on their cost of living and to save that towards a home. And yeah, they've done it. So
I love that.
So we don't have to believe, what we're being told and we don't have to go down that crazy path.
Yes.
We can actually see, quite good changes take place.
That should be a headline. Family reduces spending and is not in a stressful situation.
They're not in a cost of living crisis.
Not in a, What cost of living crisis? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Good.
What living? Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Archie. I think we will wrap it up there. This has been a longer one without Lockie here to rein it in. But thank you. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. We really appreciate everyone out there. We love the feedback as well. And we got the questions today, which makes for a really interesting conversation. So appreciate you so much. Please leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. And it's always encouraging.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Tim.
See you, Archie.
And remember that this podcast is for education purposes only and is not financial advice. You can head to waymakerpodcast.com.au if you'd like to connect with one of our trusted wealth partners, and they can help you get personal advice that's tailored to your situation.